Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm kind of, my heart's racing right now. I really don't know how to start this video. Today's video is going to be a bit more personal, actually very personal. It's something that I've always known that I wanted to do at some point. But I didn't feel ready until now. And even now it's kind of weird and it's strange and I don't really know how to approach it. But as most of you know, if you've been watching my channel, you've heard me mention my last breakup, which was my first breakup. I've mentioned a little bit here and there, but I never really fully opened up about what happened, how I came to my decision and things like that. And obviously for good reasons. It was just too raw and too new to talk about and to put out there. But I have come to a point where I really feel ready to share my story, and I kind of want to cry already, and I don't know why. If I cry, it's not because like my heart's still broken over everything. There's just a lot that is going on. I am not sharing this because I want to, like, oh, poor me, poor Samantha, poor this, that. I am honestly sharing my experience because I want to be somebody that people can relate with, you know. And church breakups are real. You date people in the church, you break up, but you still love that person. And sometimes we don't really share those parts. We don't share the breakups. We just share the waiting and all that. But it's real. It happens. The heartbreak still exists. And even though you have God, it's still hard. It still hurts. With that being said, I also want to say I'm not going to really go too in depth about things because some of it is just so personal that like it doesn't need to be shared. Obviously out of respect too towards him, because I don't hate him. I don't despise him. I'm not angry at him. There may still be some hurt in there. In no means am I at all trying to bash him or degrade him or get down on him. This isn't about like which side are you on, Jacob or Edward. And I also want to make that known because I love his family, so I don't want ever to them or other people to take it as if I'm targeting, because I have a relationship with his family and I know that they've come to love me, and so we still keep in touch. Like I said, I don't really know where to begin. I don't. So if this video becomes choppy and a little all over the place, please forgive me. I'm going to do my best. Before I get into bearing my soul to you, please hit that subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me. And give this video a thumbs up too. What I'm mostly gonna do is share pretty much just what brought me to my decision, my testimony of what brought me to this decision of my breakup. After that, a lot of things changed, and I feel like that's a whole nother topic. So if that is something that you guys want me to share and you want me to share the process of what happened after I broke up, like the video, let me know down below. Don't feel comfortable with saying his name, so I'm just going to say John. To give you a little background, I was 16 when I met John. He was 19, I believe. The background of that was I just met him outside playing basketball where I had lived. My mom loves basketball. She begged me to come play a game because they needed one more person, and I conceded. And so I met him, and he kept coming back to play basketball, and we kind of just headed off. You know, at the time I had no intentions. I didn't even like him that way, but my mom encouraged me to reach out to him and invite him to a church function we had going on. So that's what I did. And from there, we just started hanging out and talking a lot, and he made his feelings clear for me, and I explained to him that I was not interested, but I would still love to be friends if he was okay with that, and he said he was. So, he started coming to church. He fell in love with my church. He fell in love with my family, and we included him in a lot of things. So time progressed. Our friendship began to build. He became really part of my family. He became a part of our holidays, a part of our vacations. Like, he really integrated into our family. Slowly, I started to develop feelings for him. It was like, best way to describe it was my love came softly. Like, I didn't expect it. I didn't plan it. The more I got to know him and the closer we became and the more we shared with each other, and I guess we became each other's comfort too, and safety net, naturally I developed feelings for him. And I knew that he was still new to his relationship with God. And so at the time, again, I was only like 17. I had voiced this to my mom, and I said, yeah, but I don't really want to rush into dating him because, there's a lot that still he's dealing with, and I don't want to add on to that. A relationship is a lot, and I want him to focus on God. So I communicated that to him, and he was in agreement, and he was fine with it. We knew each other for 5 years. Throughout our friendship, we talked a lot about if we started dating, and I always expressed to him what was important to me as a husband, because I don't date just to date. I date for marriage. That's my purpose. So I expressed to him, like, look, I'm dating for that, and he said he was also, and I said to him, like, this is what I believe in, this is what I agree with. I said, ministry is important to me, my future ministry is important to me, my walk with God, my faithfulness to God, my convictions are important to me, and I shared those with him, and he was in agreement. And so, I said, okay, great. Be honest, there was things that my mom voiced to me that were red flags that I saw as well, but I was in love. At this point I was starting to fall in love with him. So you start to think that your love is going to change them. You start to think that you being there for them and being, encouraging to them and never giving up on them is going to somehow help them, like, realize, like, I gotta get this under control. I gotta break this cycle. I gotta break this habit. And that was me. I thought my love for him, I thought my commitment, I thought my patience and sometimes letting things go that I shouldn't have let go was going to help. She was happy for me. She was happy that I had somebody that I became close with, because at the time I didn't have anybody else and I was going through a lot. So, we became really, really close. 5 years passed. There was things at this point where things kind of started becoming more noticeable, but again, I kept brushing them off. I knew it, but I kept saying, it's gonna work out. Like, I believe that he's the one. I really feel it, It was love. And I didn't want to be one of those people that were like, oh, it's love, but it was love. And that's okay. Like, I've accepted that it's okay. That's what love does. Love is patient. Love is kind. Like, it's all those things. So I know that I loved him to the best of my ability, and I'm okay with that. And there was a moment where he said, like, I just want a chance to be your boyfriend. That will make things easier. And so at that point I started to think, oh, well, I guess he's saying that when he becomes my boyfriend, a lot of these other things that he feels like is causing strain on our relationship will go away and make things better. And started to think, well, maybe it will. Like, I want to give him a chance. He wants a chance. I want to see what's going to happen. I told him, like, look, okay, well, I want you to go to my mom. I want you to go to my pastor. I want you to ask for permission. I want you to talk about it. So he went to my mom, and she came to me, and we talked. And I went and I sat down with my pastor, and I expressed to him why I felt the way that I felt. And he asked me, and he said, Samantha, do you feel that this man can become the person that is going to complement you in your ministry? And I remember sitting there without a shadow of a doubt, and I said, yes, I do truly believe that. And he said, okay, well, I'm going to leave the decision up to you. And I think in retrospect now, I think he did that because I think he probably wanted to say no. But I think he also saw that I really wanted this. And I hope he let me do it because he trusted me. But you never really know. My mom, she was kind of always fearful deep down because when she was young, she fell in love with my father. And she was advised from her pastor not to marry him, but she went against her pastor. And, you know, my parents are divorced now. I haven't talked to my dad in 6+ years. So my mom always had that fear in her back of her mind too, that because I was in love, I was eventually going to compromise and, you know, be disobedient or let my love blind me and make the wrong choice that maybe wasn't the best for me. And I always told her, Mama, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to God. I'm not going to do that to my pastor. We dated for a year. There was a lot that transpired within that year. You know, we had our ups and then there was a lot of downs, and I brushed the downs under the rug when we had the good moments. But a lot of it was just the same things, and then sometimes it was even worse because he slowly started to become angry at God, angry at my church, and hurt. And there's a lot of things that I was hurt about. You know, I remember even right when we first started dating, I was like, okay, let's sit down and talk about, like, let's write out goals as a couple, goals spiritually and things that we want to achieve as a couple. Like, you know, I felt like to keep us on track. And I remember even in that moment feeling a bit of resistance, a bit of annoyance. But I ignored it. I was like, no, we're here, we're so close, like, we're going to be boyfriend and girlfriend finally, like, just let it go. Because at the time I thought that if I had accepted what I knew was really there, that all of the time that I had been waiting to be with this guy was for nothing. And I didn't want to admit that. I didn't want to think that. I wanted to believe, like, no, it will get better. It will get better. It will get better. There was just a lot of things that happened, a lot of things that were promised that weren't kept, that I kept brushing under the rug. There was moments where when life got too stressful for him, he would push me away and wouldn't want to talk to me for a couple days to a week, and it hurt me. But he'd come back and apologize and say he'd never do it again, and so of course I would forgive him. And there was just a lot. And yes, there was probably things that I admit that we should have not had to go through as individuals and as a couple. If he had wanted it to, it could have just brought us closer, and it could have been a test to our relationship. But it did test our relationship, and it didn't work. You know, a lot of those conversations, the same conversations, never changing, same things over and over again. And I started coming to a point where I was starting to think, is this the will of God? Is this right? You know, is this who God has for me? But I didn't want to voice it. I was scared to voice it. So time kept passing. There was things that we wouldn't even want to discuss because we knew that we could feel that there was friction between the two of us. So we would avoid those topics because we felt that if we talked about those things, it would make it more real and make it more in our face that, hey, this is not working out anymore, because we loved each other so very much. It really became a big thing to me when he had a falling out with my family, and the way he handled it not only hurt my mom extremely, it hurt me, because when you hurt my family, you hurt me. And I was still in love, so here I am. I'm hurt over it, but I'm still with him. So I was at war. I was at war with my boyfriend because I loved him, but my family. He started missing church, and that really bothered me because he knew how I felt about that. So I got to a point where I would even ask questions with my mom, started talking to her, and I'd just say, how do you know? Like, how do you know it's not fear? And she just would say, you know, baby girl, you'll just know. If you pray about it, God will speak to you. There was a night where I was hanging out with him, and our night ended up in a fight, which happened more than people probably assumed. I went to bed. I didn't want to talk to anybody because I didn't want to share what had happened, because I know that they would say, Samantha, you didn't deserve that. You don't deserve that. But I didn't want to hear it because I knew it. I just didn't want to hear it. So I went to bed, and I remember crying. And I was laying in the bed, and I was looking up at my ceiling. And I just said, God, I don't understand. I love him so much. But why is it so hard? Why does it hurt so much? And he spoke to me, and he said, Samantha, it's time for you to let go. And I said, God, but I'm scared. I'm so scared. And I am tired of letting go of people that I love so much. And he said, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. I'm here. And so a week passed, and it was something that I kept in my mind. You know, it was at that point I knew that I had to do it. I just didn't know when. And then one night I had a dream. And in my dream, I don't remember where I was. But there was somebody that I was praying with, and he was a guy. I never saw what he looked like. I didn't get a name in my dream. I just remember we were praying. And I remember feeling so happy and so close to this person and so connected. I woke up and I remember having a smile on my face, and God spoke to me instantly, and he said, that's what I have for you. Because my relationship with my futures, with my significant other, the most important thing to me is our walk with God. And I believe that God gave me that dream to show me that that is what I have for you. That's what you desire most. That's what I have. And so I told my mom, and she confirmed. So I felt like that was just confirmation too. And so then Sunday came around, and we had our guest speaker, and John wasn't there again. No message, no text. And at that point, to be honest, I did not focus for the rest of the service, because at that point I was just sick of it. I was hurt, I was angry. So right after church, I didn't tell my mom what I was gonna do, because I knew that if I told her, I was just gonna break down in tears. And I needed every bit of strength that I had to do what I was gonna do. Hop in my car, and I go to his place, and his friends were there, his roommates were there, and they were about to go do something, but I said, hey, can we talk? And he said, sure. And it was then in that moment that we decided to end things. He finally admitted that he no longer was in agreement with what he said he was in agreement with, that he no longer wanted the same things. He knew that what I wanted, he wasn't going to be able to give me, and he didn't want me to compromise. It's okay, because I wasn't willing to compromise either. But it hurt, because obviously we still didn't want it to come to that. You know, he said, Samantha, I love you so much, but I can't be who you need me to be. But I was angry. I was angry that he made those promises to me and he didn't keep them. I was angry that he tried to love God just to please me. He tried to live for God. And I believed him when he said he wasn't doing that, but I think subconsciously that's what he was doing. So, you know, we made a promise to each other that we would still be close friends. We promised that we would never say goodbye to each other. It was hard. It felt like I had lost a part of myself. So, I'm not going to go into post-breakup and how I dealt with that, and then our promise to remain in each other's lives, because that's a whole nother story. A lot of things went through that, so this video is already long enough. So if you want me to make a video about that and share that experience, let me know down below. I want you to know that if you're in that same situation where you have this gut feeling, or you have this feeling in your spirit, and you just know that I'm not in the will of God anymore, listen to it. I promise you, because as painful as it is, and as hurtful, and as confusing, and as scary, God knows. And though I felt like I was too scared to break up with him, I knew that if God was telling me it was time, even though I felt like I couldn't do it, him knowing that I was ready was enough. And I stepped out in obedience to him, because I knew, well, God says I'm ready, so I must be ready. Like, God always knows what we're capable of. Trust God. God has somebody for you. Sorry for all the crying. So that was the real and the honest me, because I'm beautifully unfinished, if you haven't heard. That's my blog. If you haven't checked that out, I'll leave it down in the description box. But I think that's it for this video. I hope this helps you. I hope that it just lets you know that you're not alone. You will come out of it and be so much stronger for it. I guess that's it. I love you guys. I truly do. Whoever's watching this, I love you. I will see you in my next video. Bye.